If you've ever worked a hospital night shift, you already know the silence is never truly silent. But on February 14th, 2019, inside St. Andrew's Memorial Hospital in Detroit, something broke that silence. A nurse heard knocking from a patient room that had been empty for 13 years. What she found inside should have never been alive. My name is Elena Moore, and I've been a nurse for 14 years. But the night I'm about to tell you about, the one shift I can't forget, that one still crawls back into my dreams like a cold hand wrapping around my throat. It happened during my graveyard shift, just past 2:11 a.m., the hour when even the machines seem tired, and the building feels like it's breathing on its own. That night, the hospital hallways were washed in a pale blue glow from the emergency lights, the kind of light that makes human faces look a little less human. I was assigned to Ward C, the oldest wing, barely used anymore. Half the rooms in that hallway were sealed shut, renovation pending, according to administration. But staff whispered a different reason. Some rooms should just stay closed. Ward C always smelled different. Not bad, just heavier, like the air there remembered things. The first sign. At 2:22 a.m., the hallway phones crackled, not ringing, just breathing. A static whisper, like someone pressing their mouth too close to the microphone. I wrote it off. Night shifts make your mind invent things. But then, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks, coming from room 308. My heart kicked once against my chest. A hard, rude punch. Because 308 has been sealed since 2006. Nobody inside, no patients assigned, no staff allowed. I froze with my chart in my hand. The knocks were spaced perfectly, like someone was lifting their arm with purpose. I took a breath. "Who's there?" I called half-whisper. Silence, then scritch. The sound of nails dragging across the inside of the door. Not an animal, not pipes, fingernails. The file they never show new nurses. My hands were shaking hard enough to rattle the pen. Every instinct was begging, pleading, screaming, "Walk away, Elena." But I'm a nurse, and when someone knocks, you answer. I scanned my tablet. All rooms unassigned, all beds empty. So I checked the old printed logbook we keep behind the station, the one we never show new staff. Room 308, patient Daniel Merritt, admitted February 14th, 2006, status deceased, time of death 2:22 a.m., cause cardiac arrest following prolonged hallucinations. Notes: patient repeatedly claimed someone keeps knocking from inside the walls. My throat dried. Same date, same time, same room, 13 years apart. The door opens by itself. I stepped toward 308, slow, 1 foot whispering over the tiles. I could hear something inside, something like fabric shifting, like someone turning in bed. I put my hand on the doorknob, cold as metal pulled from a freezer. Before I turned it, it turned on its own. The click echoed through the corridor like a bone cracking. The door opened an inch. Darkness spilled out, thick, heavy, like the room had its own gravity. I pushed it open, just enough to peek, and in the darkness, I saw a shape. A man sitting on the bed, head tilted, chest rising and falling in slow, labored breaths. For a moment, my brain gave me hope. A patient, maybe someone transferred here by mistake. Until he turned his head toward me, slow, like the bones in his neck didn't fit right. His face was pale, wet, eyes reflecting no light at all. His voice cracked through the dark. "You're late, nurse." For a few seconds, I couldn't move. My brain kept trying to stitch logic together, but every thread snapped the moment that man lifted his head. Patients don't get transferred into sealed rooms. Patients don't sit in the dark without equipment. Patients don't wait like this. But he was. He sat there like someone who'd been counting the minutes. His chest rose in slow, syrupy breaths, and every exhale sounded damp, like the air inside his lungs had pooled into something heavier than oxygen. I swallowed hard. "Sir, are you hurt?" His lips twitched into something that wasn't quite a smile. His voice dragged out of him like he hadn't used it in years. "You heard me knocking." A cold shiver unzipped my spine. My badge tapped against my chest from my heartbeat alone. I didn't see you on the roster," I said, trying to sound professional. His head tilted again. Too far. The vertebrae bending like something inside had softened. "I wasn't on yours," he whispered, "but you were on mine." I stepped inside, against every instinct screaming to turn around. My flashlight flickered when I raised it, but I caught enough detail to freeze me where I stood. The bed wasn't made for a living patient. No fresh sheets, no ID band, just an old, thin hospital blanket stained at the foot. But the worst part? The cardiac monitor beside the bed, the one that should have been powered off, was glowing faint green. Flatline. A dead person's heartbeat still reading. Except, the timestamp on the machine said 2:22 a.m., February 14th, 2006. 13 years ago, down to the exact minute. The air grew colder. The emergency lights buzzed like angry insects. He turned his face toward the monitor without moving his body, just the head. "You didn't check my vitals," he whispered. My throat tightened. "I didn't know you were here." "Liar." His voice sharpened, soft but with weight, like something leaning onto my ribs from inside. Behind him, on the opposite wall, hung an old, metal-framed mirror. It shouldn't have been there. Renovation crews removed mirrors from empty wings years ago. But this one clung to the wall like a memory that refused to go. I tried not to look. God, I tried. But something in my peripheral vision pulled me. The man was sitting on the bed, but in the mirror, he was standing inches behind me, head bowed, hands folded in front of him, breathing against the back of my neck. I froze, every muscle caged with terror. "Don't turn around," he whispered. Not from the reflection, from the bed. The reflection began to lift its head, slowly, revealing two hollow eye sockets dripping something black. I gasped and stumbled backward, slamming against the wall. My flashlight clattered across the floor. The man, the real one, was still sitting on the bed, unmoving. But the reflection took one step toward me, just one, and the mirror cracked down the middle. My radio erupted in a shriek of static. "More? More? You there? We're reading a code blue from Ward C, room 308. You're closest." I stared at the figure on the bed. Code blue means cardiac arrest. But he wasn't coded. He wasn't even alive. He wasn't even... More? Respond now. I grabbed the radio with shaking hands. He's not... I don't... I need backup. The mirror let out a tiny sound. Ting! Like glass cracking further. The reflection stepped closer. The man on the bed whispered, "You're late again, nurse." My radio died. The lights in the hallway blinked out one by one, coming toward the room like something crawling through the wires. I backed toward the door, heart detonating in my chest. Then, slam. The door shut on its own. The lock clicked. The bed creaked. Slow, deliberate. He stood up, bones cracking like branches thawing after winter. "No one leaves early," he murmured. In the reflection, he was inches from me now, head tilted, eyes hollow, lips split in a dead grin. My breath stung cold in my lungs. He stepped forward. The floor under him darkened with wet footprints. I reached for the door, slamming my fist into it. "Open! Somebody open the door!" Behind me, the reflection touched my shoulder. Not the man, the reflection. Ice shot through my entire body. My vision tunneled. He whispered in my ear, "Shift's not over.